Taiwan. I'm Tiffany Wong with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. On day 5 of the Hanguang military exercises, Taiwan's armed forces deployed its Land Sword 2 missiles against simulated enemy aircraft in Taiwan's north.
不远的地方，其实就是我们第3作战区的暂时的联合作战指挥中心所在。如果有中共的巡弋飞弹经过了外围的拦截网，那进入进程阶段的话，那就由这个陆射舰2跟也许理论上部署在附近的复仇者进行拦截跟接战，确保我们重要军事资产，尤其是联合作战指挥中心的功能完整。
The domestically made Land Sword 2 missile has a range of 15 kilometers and can intercept fighter jets and incoming missiles. They could also protect Taiwan's biggest international airport in Taoyuan. In the run-up to this year's Hanguang exercise, TaiwanPlus reporter Isabel Wong spoke to Alexander Huang, chair at the Council of Strategic and Wargaming Studies, to understand more about Taiwan's military readiness.
I saw that your recent op-ed on the Zero Day, the movie, that's actually sparking debate or discussions either domestically or overseas, and it's talking about potential 2028 Taiwan Strait conflict. So I'm interested in knowing, like, can you tell us a little bit about what you wrote in your op-ed to our international audience as well?
Zero Day is kind of TV series, hasn't been put on channels. The teaser rolls out late last year, but there were debate even within the government that whether this Zero Day scenario, like a Chinese invasion on Taiwan in 7 days, whether that will horrify our population or it will encourage our population. There are 2 schools of thought. One is to build up our defensive and warfighting capability. The other is to make sure that we can cool down the situation. We do not antagonize or build up hatred across the Taiwan Strait unnecessarily. I think my proposal was that we need to always work hard to prepare for the D-Day, but it is our undeniable responsibility to delay the D-Day as much as we can.
But there might be some difficulties within the country. As we all know, the number shows that since last June, the volunteer military personnel has been the lowest ever. What would be the feasible solutions to that?
The force level that being set by the Ministry of Defense has been 210,000 force level. And that number has not been changed for more than 12 years. Right now, as we face several factors, number one, heightened situation in the Taiwan Strait. We are experiencing a very low birth rate. And so the issue right now that Taiwan faces is not how many missiles we have, how many tanks that we have procured, is how to maintain the manpower level necessary to operate the newly acquired weapon systems. I hate to say that, but our recruitment rate as well as retention rates are in record low right now. So what we can do is to increase the salaries, benefits, incentives for the uniformed services. I know it's a quick fix, but it's necessary to maintain the force level or otherwise. Talking about strategy is easy. Talking about how brave Taiwanese is easy. But if you are a responsible person or a policy person, you will look at the retention rate, and you will look at how many young people would like to sign up in uniform service. Then you will know, hey, we gotta have some really new, different policy to get those people into our forces, or otherwise, it's rhetoric rather than capability.
I believe the Ministry of National Defense, they are also starting to recruit more female than before. What does that entail?
We had a female president and commander-in-chief already. So there is no really different views on, whether a woman cannot bear a responsibility for national defense. I think we are pretty fair on this. Another solution is to extend the compulsory service from 1 year to 2 years. But again, given the trends of low birth rate and shrinking population, if we pour too many young workforce into uniform, then the economic development will be affected. The commercial sector will be affected. So it's a national security, or I should say nationwide issue. It's not a defense issue alone.
The Ukraine-Russia war that has been ongoing for over 3 years already, and then there's also the Iran-Israel conflict as well, and also the U.S. strikes on Iran. That all happened within like a short period of time.
Yeah.
What do you think Taiwan can learn from these?
The number one lesson is that there will be no U.S. boots on ground. So the United States will try everything possible to help Taiwan defend itself. But we do not expect that under whoever the president is in the United States to send ground troops to Taiwan, to this island, and help us to defend. It's not because of our question to American resolve. It is the fact that we do not a security treaty. We are not an alliance. We did not have a joint training, joint exercise in place. I would say whatever we have witnessed is the conflict. The conflict was not in between two nuclear powers. Okay, so if we think about Ukraine, Gaza, Iran, but if we move it to Taiwan Strait and thinking of a U.S.-China nuclear exchange, that would be a totally different scenario. It's going to be very hard for two nuclear powers to get into a kinetic, direct, prolonged conflict with a potential, possibility to escalate it into a nuclear exchange.
So do you think Hangguang exercise, like this year specifically, has all of the components needed to call it a success?
I have to say, since 1984, we spent 41 years to organize and design and plan this Hangguang joint military exercise alone. None of the scenarios in the past 41 years that we had ever designed a war game that fighting with a partner. So we defend our homeland alone. And I know this year we have extended dates, we have new weapon systems involved, and we even have a largest ever mobilization to the brigade level of the reservists. And we also involve the local fire department, police department, civil defense unit to practice our social resilience. I think this is the right direction, but we will have 42nd, 43rd Hangguang exercise in the years to come. So this is the right first step.
That was security analyst Alexander Huang. You can watch the full interview on TaiwanPlus.com. U.S. President Donald Trump has announced plans to impose a 30% tariff on goods from the European Union and Mexico, two of the U.S.'s largest trading partners. The tariffs will come into effect on August 1st if deals aren't struck before then. Both the EU and Mexico are already in trade negotiations with the U.S. In response to the announced tariffs, the European Commission president said the levies would disrupt transatlantic supply chains, hurting both businesses and consumers, while Mexico's president seemed hopeful for a better deal.
Nosotros creemos que, por lo que platicaron el día de ayer nuestros compañeros, que vamos a llegar a un acuerdo con el gobierno de los Estados Unidos y que vamos a llegar, por supuesto, a mejores condiciones.
The news comes after Trump also announced new tariffs on many of its other trading partners this week, including Canada and Japan. Residents of Nantou County in central Taiwan have cast their ballots to decide the fate of County Councilor Chen Yuling. If over a quarter of eligible voters submitted ballots and the number of voters in favor of removal is more than those against, Chen will be removed from her post. Chen, from the ruling Democratic Progressive Party, is the first of dozens of politicians to face a recall vote this year. Over 24 lawmakers from the opposition Kuomintang also have their positions at stake. They'll face recall votes later in July and in August. It's been a week since Typhoon Readiness made landfall on Taiwan's populous west coast, bringing major agricultural losses, with pomelo farmers among the hardest hit. One district in Taiwan's south reported that more than 80% of their pomelo crop have been blown off the trees by the typhoon. And initial estimates by Taiwan's Ministry of Agriculture last week showed that pomelo losses may amount to over $4 million.
也都是吃这边的柚子长大。那经过这次的风灾，其实说真的，看着看着会不自觉想要掉眼泪。
Cleanup efforts are still underway. Conservation groups across Taiwan are working to protect a migratory bird species as it breeds. Little terns arrive in Taiwan every spring for their mating season after spending the winter in Australia. Conservationists have set up electronic fences around the birds to prevent stray dogs from getting close. The little tern is a protected species in Taiwan, as their numbers have been declining. From a pen to the belly of a tiger, it's not the deer this program aims to protect. By releasing prey animals, park officials hope to restore Thailand's tiger population and heal a damaged ecosystem. John Van Trieste reports.
A lone tiger approaches a camera trap in the jungles of western Thailand, slowly prowling through the understory. It's a special moment caught on video, and one much more common than it used to be. In 2007, there were just around 40 of these big cats left here in the Western Forest Complex near the Myanmar border. But a joint project by Thailand's government and the World Wildlife Fund has slowly turned things around. Now there are about 200. Conservationists are thrilled. It's a rare bright spot in a part of the world where tiger numbers have collapsed.
Thailand's tiger recovery is extraordinary. It's extraordinary in the context of Southeast Asia. No other Southeast Asia country has an increasing tiger population.
And this is one of the secrets of the program's success, the sambar deer. These are native prey and great tiger food, but they've been in decline like the tigers. So, 5 years ago, the program started releasing captive deer back into the wild.
Previously, the tigers and the sambar deer both disappeared from here. If some animals disappear from the food chain, it will cause the ecosystem in that area to be incomplete. We consider what we're doing a very good activity.
But while some of these deer will end up as a tiger's meal, conservationists say they've shown themselves adaptable and resilient, and even able to thrive. Most go on to reproduce, bringing a second species back from the brink.
The purpose of releasing sambar deer is not solely to serve as prey to predatory animals, but because the population was small, we wanted to preserve the species of deer to have a higher population first.
This kind of eco-initiative isn't exactly new. Prey release projects have been going on in Africa for years. But for Southeast Asia, this tiger and deer project is a starting point. As tigers settle permanently in this corner of Thailand, other release programs are starting in neighboring Cambodia and Malaysia, bringing species and ecosystems out of decline in a region that's seen its fair share of ecological destruction. Luffy Lee and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow our social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, we take you to Mexico City for a projection mapping show celebrating 700 years of the city's history. I'm Tiffany Wong. Take care and see you next time.